Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Welcome to Chit Chat with Shehla. I'm your host, Shehla Saeed, and this is a program all about empowered women who come forth, who share their journeys, and they give you pointers and tips, which is helping so many other women. So please stay tuned in. Do write down comments. Do ask questions if you want to. Today's guest is one remarkable woman. She was bullied from a young age, suffered from anxiety and fears. She's been subjected to both psychological and physical violence. She developed anger issues and then developed a shopping addiction. I will not go on for long because I want her to speak and come forth. So let's waste no time and call forth Sajra Memic.
Hey. Hey, I'm so excited. Oh, what a beautiful presentation.
You deserve it. Beautiful.
Oh, so excited to be on,
Oh, thank you for agreeing to come on.
Yeah, sure. So exciting. Share my story and
Yes, please do. There is already 6 people watching, so please put your comments down. We can see who's watching, and do enjoy the session and make the most from it. So, Sajra, let's start. Tell us about your childhood.
Yeah, as a child, I remember early, I had anxiety. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know it was anxiety back then, but I was always, as a child, I was really afraid. I was really shy. I didn't, I was always hiding a little bit behind my siblings. So, if someone would call me out to do something, I would first hesitate. I would think first and then I don't know, always like that. And yeah, it was tough for me in school because the other children, I went to school in Bosnia, and the other children, they were really a lot of kids in Boston, they're telling you directly what they think, what they want. And I was sitting there really shy, and I didn't and I didn't have the support at home. So it started early that I got bullied. They could say things to me, and I didn't speak well Bosnian because I lived also for 7 years in Germany. So I was a bit different, but at the early stage, every time they said something to me, I would take it in, and I would get more afraid and more anxiety. And it was really hard because it happened almost every day for years in school. And then at home, my parents, they didn't, my mom, she had this depression for years. My dad was alcoholic. So I had no one I could ask for help or talk to. Not a lot of friends in school. Some of them, they helped me, but it was I always felt, alone. And I always felt I couldn't breathe. And that's something that, that followed me
So that must have been anxiety when you feel you can't breathe.
Yeah, actually my parents, my mom, she would take me to doctors, and they felt it was something with my throat. It was something physical, so they would give me medicine and stuff. Nothing helped. And at the end, I don't know if I was 9 or 10, I told my mom, I don't want to go to the doctor long. And they gave me all this stuff and medicine. And even as a child, I felt that's weird because I didn't know what it is. And in Boston, we don't talk about anxiety and stuff. I didn't know, never heard about it. No one is talking about it. You don't have this conversation. You don't have, now you have it. But back then it was not that common. Not everyone could get help. I didn't have the knowledge. But I felt like something is wrong. I could go to bed and I had to open the window. I felt I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And I would always the things happening. I would cry sometimes. Going to school because I was so I knew how the day would be. I knew that I would be the target, and it went for years and years. And I got afraid, but I got more and more angry inside of me. I felt like, oh my God, like all the time I was like, every time they say something, it's here inside. You get it, like.
And you didn't have anywhere to take it out or to express with anyone what you were going through.
No, the one thing I did was like I played football with friends. I love to play football. So that was the one place I could be more aggressive and take it out because I love that. But I didn't have someone to talk to. My parents never sat down and talked to me and told me, do this and that. I just did things how I felt I should be doing it. But I knew the things that are happening, they are wrong. But you could not ask for help or do anything. It was just like, oh, take
it. As a child, yes. As a child, you wouldn't even have known what was going on. And you mentioned in your bio that it was more anger by later years in school.
Yeah.
So when did you came to realization that this was not normal and this was not physical? It was something more psychological. Did you become aware of it in secondary school or later?
No, I didn't. I just got more angry. I really didn't, because I never heard in Boston, like, what is this? I became aware when I started to go to university and did my education as a social worker. Then I started to read books, and then I understood. But that was later. I was 24, 25 at that time so it was really late. But I just did things. I never was like thinking like more. I was just feeling like that's wrong, that's something weird. Never knew what it was like. And I got so angry. I know when I started, we say gymnasium, it's like, when what was I, 14, 15, and then I just decided, like, okay, enough is enough. I told myself, if one more person says or did something to me, either you hit them or you fight for yourself. It's like, enough. At that time I was so angry, like it was enough if someone was looking at me weird. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit you. Like, it's like, no playing games. I was so angry.
And that again is not the right way to express, but then you probably kept it inside you for so long that's how you do it. I'll just tell you some comments, Sajra, because Farina from Pakistan is saying hi, hello, Sajra. Nargis is saying hello. Madhya Hassan Khan is watching. Nashmia is here, who's saying hello. And Kanza is here, who's saying hello, Sajra.
So hi, everyone.
Thank you. And Madhya is saying, you were in a not nice place. Makes me sad for everyone who is there. So true.
Yeah.
You can see someone in that place, but when you're yourself in that place, it's hard to identify. It takes years, like it did for you, to realize and come out. So when and what got you into the addiction, particularly the shopping addiction? Tell us about that.
Yeah, you can. It was like that. I got angry, and then inside, I always felt afraid. I felt afraid. I was like, I was always, you can't do this. Everything was negative. I can't. And the outside, I showed this anger. In the inside, I was afraid. I was like empty, like I felt, and it was like, I was 24 and I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had a job. I started making money, and I was starting like comparing myself to other women. I like watched some videos. I could see some like famous. I wanted to have hair like them. It started really like creeping in, like, I want this like necklace, I want this or that. And I felt like, oh, that's normal, like buy this and buy that. And when before I got my daughter, I was pregnant, then I started to buy more and more. And I know before I got her, I was like shopping a lot of baby clothes and stuff for her, stuff that she doesn't even need. And it got so far. I continued when I got my daughter, and I was hiding from my partner. Then I was hiding, like, packages are coming. I was, so one time I like locked the room and I opened and he knew something is wrong, and I took a loan, not that much, but I did took a loan to buy, and I could sit like remember my daughter was sleeping wherever we were. It was sick, like I could be at the hospital, I could be at home, I could be sitting at night, and I was like at the computer looking at dresses, looking at clothes, like 50 sites I'm looking, and then when I buy it, I felt this rush. I was like, like, oh my! And then when it was over the rush, I felt nothing. I was like, I felt so empty. I felt sad, and then I felt guilt. Like, why the hell did you buy this? And I was not present with my daughter. I was like, my mind, I was playing with her. I was doing things, but I was somewhere. I was like already thinking the perfume I want to buy, or the other, the t-shirt. What was always the next thing, and it got crazy until the point that my partner, like, till he finds some papers and find that I had a loan, and he was okay, like, we have a problem, like what's happening, what's going on. And I remember I was so embarrassed when he found out. I was like, yeah.
So was that your realization? Is that when you realized that you actually have an issue?
Yeah, it took me. He called me out. I think I was continuing, but the realization came one day. I was just outside walking, and then I was like, it dropped in. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, look at the way how you're living. Like, I was like, it's something, I don't know. It was the moment, just I was like, you can't continue like this. It was like the same moment when I had like, I'm not taking this anymore, no one will like bully me long. It was like the same, it dropped just in for me. And then I was like, okay, you have to stop. And I called, I was like trying to find help. There was no help. They were almost laughing, like, what the hell is a shopping addiction? They told me that doesn't even, that I Googled it. I just found like private psychologists. They're really expensive at the time. I was like, okay. Then I stopped. I just stopped. I blocked myself from all the sites. And then I was like, okay, I started going into nature every day, running and going just like with the trees and just being outside. That was like my way to get out. But I stopped shopping at the point outside, but the insecurities and the comparing to other women and everything else was there. So even harder then, because I felt so much guilt. I always went back. I was then more present with my daughter. I was studying as a social worker, but I always got back and told my partner, like, oh my God, you remember I shopped so much and I was not present with her for 1 year ago. That's not okay. The guilt always come back to me, always.
So relatable. In fact, someone has commented, Farina is saying, many of us went through this not knowing, so relatable. Because we're seeking happiness in things outside and not really looking inside. You said the shopping addiction started, and then there was a time when you started getting aggressive and you were retaliating back. Were they coinciding with each other, or one after the other?
I always was angry, but sometimes I was more insecure. I would not act out on this way, but with my partner I could like fight and say things and be angry, or towards, get angry triggers with my children, or get angry if someone told me something at work. I would get angry and tell them like, what do you think, blah blah. Or I would have always this attitude, like, but I use it as a weapon, because to have attitude and be confident, it's okay if you use it for something good, but I use it as a weapon. So the anger was always, and I went to a psychologist and I talked to her and I learned some stuff, but still, like, I was just more insecure at the end. But the anger, it was always there. It always followed me, like anger and like insecurity. It was like together, but sometimes I would show more anger, sometimes more insecurity.
Okay. Was there any other addictions you suffered with, Sajra?
No, I was actually trying to read about this because I know they say when you have parents, my dad has still today alcoholic addiction, so it's easier, you know, and for me it showed as a shopping addiction. So for someone it maybe shows as playing games or like
Mm,
drugs or what it can be, but no, I didn't have other addictions. Like I was never like to alcohol or into other stuff. I tried some stuff when I was younger because the time when I was young, I was 18, 17, 18, I really get into trouble. I was not listening to my parents. I was trying drugs. I was like with really bad boys, like with people. Like I just like was like thinking, I don't care. Like if something happens to me, what do I care? Or who cares? Because I didn't
mm,
felt worthy of living. Or, you know, I was so like so many things happened to me. I was like, what worst thing can happen? So I put myself in a lot of risky situations when I was
mm.
young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
To let you know, Suhair Malik is here. She's saying hello. Aisha Sadiq is watching.
Hey.
Ladies, if you have any comments, any questions, do ask. Aisha said, morning, ladies. Yes. Um, so there was a question. Yes, I was going to say, you mentioned that you were not present with your daughter, but
Mm.
how, in other ways, how were you not there as a mother, or how did she suffer as a consequence of you being consumed with
Mm.
your addiction?
She got really insecure, and there were happening things when she went to kindergarten, and I was projecting all my insecurities, and when I was bullied at her and I wanted her always to fight, I was telling her sometimes, if someone tells you something, do like this, and she got even more insecure. She didn't feel safe, and that
Mm,
shows she was really like afraid of trying things, and she was like that. Like even at the play when we played outside, she would not, the other kids are like, you know, jumping and doing things, and she was like more like that. And I was really concerned. I told like my partner, like I always would like find problems in her, and she was not safe. Like, and I don't know, I just felt when I saw her, I felt like I did something to her, like because it showed like, and she, how can I say this? She would get really afraid and would get like this in a lot of situations. That's how I could see it showed.
mm,
Like, I don't know, it was not anxiety for her, but it was something really in a lot of insecurities, and like she would cry a lot and get really like, it was like this feeling unsafe.
yeah. So you said you had fear deep seated inside. Maybe that
Mm,
you think you could have transmitted it to her, or she was picking
mm.
on that.
Absolutely, she did. Because she watched me, you can see when your children like looking at you when you do something or talk to someone. Because I can see her today. I can see after I started meditating and doing things, I can see how deep we are connected, me and her. And she's really at school. She's like she did this transformation with me. She became this like leader, strong, and she's like helping others. And she's like,
Wow.
people that met her, they're like, well, she's really self-aware, and she's like talking to you straight away, asking you questions. She's there. And I felt like because I worked with myself and did everything, she's like, I'm training kickboxing. She wants to follow me to be there, and she's like, I can see she's proud of me. She's like how she talks, and I can see how she looks sometimes and we at me when I do something, and I feel like that's so. I'm so happy like that she like did this transformation with me at some point.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
Mm.
Rachna is here from London. She's saying hello. And
Hey.
Farina has actually asked the question, which I was going to get to, but I will say it in Farina's words. What did you do to break the cycle of addiction? And
Mm.
the insecurity is not an easy thing to get rid of. So, yeah, we were going to come
Mm.
to that, Sajra. Tell us, how did you help yourself?
Yeah, how did I the first thing is like you need to admit to yourself, I have a problem. It's like every other addiction. It's like, okay, be true to yourself and say, okay, I had addiction. It's
Mm,
like that. And then I just like, for me, I was a lot of on the internet. So I took myself, blocked every site, everything, because that's a good thing to do. And then just I didn't had professional help there, so I did it myself. Actually, I stopped myself. I went out and I went like in nature, and every time I saw my daughter, I tried like to think, okay, why are you doing this? Why? Like, you need to have some motivation, like really, why are you doing this? So I did it that way. But to get rid of the insecurities, I worked like every day with that, like with confidence. It's something you work every day with. It took time. Like, I had to admit to myself, okay, this will take time. You can't change so many years that you felt this way. You can change in one day. It's like, every day I'm like working with myself. And actually, when I started coaching and got momentum, I had like these small goals. I wanted to like to learn how to drive a car. I like had this like goals, like just small goals, and every time I reached them, I felt better. Like, and I felt more secure. And that's like the insecurity got like this, and like my true self was like coming out. And I did everything. At the time I was in a relationship that was abusive with my ex, I still did everything, because I have, your desire needs to be like, passion needs to be stronger than the pain, than the fear. And that than the fear, I want to say, like. So I believe anyone can do it, because I did it, and I had a lot of insecurity because I was comparing myself to everyone, like.
So slowly and gradually, and then you were celebrating your little wins.
Yeah, little wins.
Yeah. Tell us about the kickboxing. Do you think that physical activity has helped?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I was thinking about kickboxing for many years. I love sports. I love football. I love like these sports, kind of a little bit aggressive sports. You can like, and I actually called them and I got a personal trainer, and he was like, did you like try this before? I was like, no, but I have this big passion, desire. I want just to start. He was like, okay, because he's actually training a lot of people that are professionals, but he was okay, let's do this. And I came there and he was like, wow, you're learning so fast. Like, and I was like, I don't know. I felt like, because I tell myself, you can do anything. You can do anything. I have my mantras. I tell myself every day. And then I saw, when I started kickboxing, I was really secure. I was not afraid. I felt like a little bit nervous, but I just did it because I felt in my subconscious, I felt like you can do anything. You can do anything. It was like, it's here, like, and then I could see it on the outside, and I started, and I'm still training, and it's amazing. My body had this amazing transformation. I stopped eating sugar because I eat a lot of sugar. You can say I'd had also sugar addiction. That now, when I now think about it, I eat a lot of sugar, and then I stopped with automatically when I started working out, and it made me more confident in the outside. When I know I walk different after I started kickboxing. You walk a little bit like that because you. I don't know. It does something with you. You feel so strong, like.
So it's given you the confidence. Yes, you touched on it, Sajra, and I'd like you to say something about the sugar addiction as well, because I've stopped myself since the 1st of Feb, and I have seen the remarkable changes. And it is someone in this group, I think it was Alia, who shared a link which said sugar is the biggest form of addiction, like a proper addiction. So what were your experiences, if you throw some light on that?
Yeah, I was always sugar addicted. Even as a child, we got a lot of sugar, but for me it was really bad because I couldn't have a day at home that I don't eat sugar, and I had always to have cookies, to have something sweet. I couldn't, because at the night I wanted to eat. When everyone went to bed, then I was like eating there, and sometimes I was eating a lot, and at work I couldn't even imagine. It's like having water with you every day. I couldn't even imagine go to work without having something sweet. It's like the end of the world. It's like, for me, it was really a problem. And yeah, it was an addiction that I had for so many years. Like, so many as I can just remember.
And you just went cold turkey, just stopped completely.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like even my daughter asked me, "Mom, if we want, do you say no? You don't want something sweet?" And I'm like, "Just something changed." Didn't feel the need, the desire. I didn't felt
Yes.
it. It just like disappeared. I don't know if it's because I'm working out a lot. I'm working also out, like I'm running, and I'm like, and the lifestyle changed. You don't have this, but before it was a way to, my feelings, I want to trick them like down. So I like when I felt like sad or something's happening, I would eat like sugar, a lot of sugar.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's also a very important factor.
mm,
The fact that we're drowning our
emotions and
feelings
feelings. Yeah,
through
feelings.
sugar or consumption of certain foods. And the other thing is when you're doing the right things, your body
Mm,
is healing and it
mm,
starts rejecting certain types of foods. And that's what I've recently experienced myself. In fact, I am going to do a video at some point on this, that my body has stopped accepting
mm,
certain kinds of foods which are not good for it. So, thank you for giving us an overview. I know there's never enough time. There's so
yeah.
much we'd like
Oh
to
my
ask
God.
and find out. But thank you for giving your time and talking
Mm,
about it. Just before we end this, if you'd like to give a take-home message for anyone who has been listening and who's
mm,
gonna watch this later, what would you say?
mm. I would say like don't stay in this darkness, because I felt so many times I can't do something about it, but just a little bit of hope you have inside of you, you have this desire, just do something yourself. Don't wait to someone, to get this time with your psychologist. Okay, that's good, book it, but just do something yourself. Like go out in nature, do the things you love, dance, like sing, everything that works, like because that's medicine for you and for your body. Because our ego will always try to put us in the same place, to stay in the
Mm,
comfort zone, but just like because you're so worthy, like I know you can do anything, because I feel after I work with myself, I feel like limitless. I feel like I can do anything. Like I'm even if I'm afraid, I'm like, okay, I can do this, you can do this. So if I could do this, and if you would met me before, you will feel it's the most insecure, like, and today I'm like completely changed, and I know you
mm.
can do it. Just like start with something, like something that works for you, and just do it. Like,
So true, so true. In
mm,
fact, I was going to say, Saira, if you remember that time, when you were really, really down and in
mhm,
that darkness, do you remember what was that one thing that acted like a trigger that maybe got you out? Because a lot of
mhm,
women are in that space and they
mhm,
don't either realize or they don't have that motivation to step out. So maybe if you remember, that could help
mhm,
for anyone who's
mhm.
listening.
It was, I can say, seeing my children, seeing my daughter, that like something like clicked here inside. But also I was asking myself so many times, like, okay, there's something bigger. You have to feel like, okay, there's something bigger. Like you're here to do something bigger, to do something, to live your dream. So it's something like you have to like, like it's almost like you wake up like from a dream, a long dream that you have. Like you have to feel it like it's something bigger, like inside of you. Look at your children, like what do you want
Mm,
for them? So that
yeah.
it was my daughter that motivated me, that saved me at that place. It was like, okay, you can't do this to her anymore. So for me, it was that.
That's
Mm,
true. That's true. For anyone who's got children,
mm,
of course, that is the biggest motivation because you
yeah.
need to be in a good space, mental good
Mm,
space for them to see you. And they copy. They just,
yeah.
if they see you
Mm,
doing things physically or mentally correctly, then they
mm,
just kind of follow.
mm.
Thank you again, Saira. Thank you so much for coming on, for giving us your time, and thank you everyone who was watching. Have a lovely weekend,
Yeah,
and
it was a pleasure. Like, thank you everyone for listening. And I really hope, like, someone, just take it in and just like, we can do anything. Like, that's just what I want to end with. Like,
we can do anything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.